Do it.
So we're going to talk about kind of a controversial topic that I've heard a lot of people debating, whether or not the M&P trigger is a good trigger or bad trigger. And I have a little bit of mixed feelings on it. I personally think that this curvature, which a lot of people don't like on the trigger for the hinge mechanism, actually is really nice. My finger, this is a clear weapon, actually rests in there really well, and I find that it actually gives you a lot of support as you press back on that trigger. As far as the weight on the trigger goes, this is the Pro Series, so it is about a pound lighter than your standard M&Ps, but it's not terrible. It's about a 5.5 pound trigger, and I think that it's actually pretty appropriate. Could it be lighter for competition and serious marksmanship practice? Yes, it could be. There's a lot of upgrades available for it, but as it sits stock, it's pretty solid. One thing that I really like about this trigger is the brake. There's very little travel. This is just a little bit of take up to disengage your safe action, and then this little raised protrusion on the polymer here is actually what stops rearward travel of the trigger. I find it to be minimal, so it's definitely a quick resetting trigger that, with that very short travel, that's something that I really like. Now, one negative side of this is the reset is pretty easy to feel. The tactile reset is good, but the audible reset is almost non-existent on it. So if we were to, and then let out slowly, you can slightly hear it, but if you notice, one more time, you can tell where it pushes my finger out there. So it will give you some assistance and let you know that the trigger's reset, but you don't get that nice crisp click like you would out of a Glock or Springfield, for example. There are parts out there to remedy that, but as it sits, the stock trigger, that's kind of a big drawback for me. I like to get a nice audible reset so that I know that my gun's up and running again. But that being said, overall, I think it's a very good trigger. I think that the shape of it is very nice. I think that the brake on it is just right, and it's a very crisp trigger. The reset on it leaves something to be desired since it doesn't give you a nice, good audible reset. Now, that's really about it. Is it a fantastic trigger right out of the box? Not so much, but it's not the nightmare that a lot of people are putting it out to be by any stretch. So,
and it works for you.
It does work for me. Definitely consider it on an individual basis, but for my purposes, it suits me just fine. So, I'm a fan of the M&P trigger.